So what in the world does building massive tree trunk legs have to do with getting a billion views online? I mean, on the surface, yeah, nothing. They seem like totally different worlds. But what if I told you that underneath it all, the blueprint, the actual strategy for explosive growth in both is exactly the same? Stick with me because we're about to break that blueprint down piece by piece.
I mean, you gotta love that quote, right? It's brutal, but it's so true. And it perfectly nails this problem that we see, well, everywhere. It's that classic Wi-Fi signal problem. You know the feeling. You look strong up top, but the foundation, the base, it's just not there. And that weak connection, it ends up undermining everything.
And look, this goes way beyond just skipping leg day at the gym. You see this all the time, right? Think about it. The business that has amazing flashy marketing, but the product itself is just meh. Or the person with a super impressive job title, but they're missing the core fundamental skills to back it up. That's the Wi-Fi signal problem, and it's a growth killer no matter what you're trying to build. So here's the big idea, the main takeaway for this whole thing. The exact same strategy you'd use to turn those chicken legs into tree trunks is the one you can use to build a digital empire from scratch. It sounds crazy, but the physics of growth, whether it's muscle or an audience, follows the same universal laws. It follows a blueprint, and that's what we're here to do. We're going to walk you through.
All right, principle number 1. And honestly, this is where it all begins. It's the part that, let's be real, almost everyone wants to skip. Why? Because it's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's just brutally, undeniably effective. Building your foundation is all about putting in the work on the big, heavy lifting stuff that makes everything else possible.
And here's the really cool part, the science behind why this is so powerful. When you train your legs, we're talking the biggest muscles in your entire body, it's not just about getting bigger legs. The real magic is what happens system-wide. You're putting your body under so much stress that it responds by flooding your system with natural growth hormone and testosterone. It creates this anabolic environment that helps everything grow. Your arms, your chest, your back. A strong foundation literally pulls everything else up with it.
But here's the key. A solid foundation isn't built by accident. You can't just wing it. It's built with intention, with a plan. In the gym, that means you have to master these 4 pillars. You absolutely have to hit the big engines, your quads and your glutes. But you also can't forget the supporting players, the posterior chain, the hamstrings, even the details like your calves. Every single piece has a job to do. Okay, so you've got your foundation. Now let's pivot. Let's take this exact same idea and apply it to a totally different world. We're going from the weight room to the internet. Once your base is solid, the next move is to find the system's cheat codes. We call this arbitrage. It's all about finding those little places where the game is tilted in your favor and then just leaning into it hard.
So in the content world, the key number you gotta know for this is RPM. It stands for revenue per mil, which is just a fancy way of saying how much money you make for every 1,000 views. And trust me on this, not all views are created equal, not even close. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Look at this. If you get 100,000 views targeting an audience in India, you might make, say, $70. Okay, not bad. But if you get the exact same 100,000 views, but target a US audience, you could be looking at $450. That's not a little bit more, that's what, 6-7 times more? It's a huge systemic advantage just sitting there, waiting for you to grab.
So why the huge difference? It's really simple, purchasing power. Advertisers will pay way more to get their ads in front of people in a Tier 1 market like the US because, well, those people have more money to spend on their products. So choosing to target that market, that's not luck, that's a strategy. It's a financial biohack that completely changes the game for your growth.
All right, so we've built our foundation. We've found our arbitrage. What's next? Principle 3 is all about going deep. It's about finding one small, super specific area and becoming the absolute master of it. Because that's where you unlock just insane outsized results.
You know, the biggest opportunities are almost never sitting out in the open. They're hidden in the places most people just aren't even looking. So the real question is, where's that hidden growth hiding?
Check this out. It's the same principle in 2 different worlds. In the gym, let's say your big back muscles aren't growing. You're trying everything. But the real problem? Your forearms are too weak to even hold the heavy weight. The bottleneck isn't the big muscle, it's the tiny one. Now flip that to YouTube. Instead of going broad and targeting gaming, you go super niche and target Roblox, a game with 1 billion young players. See the pattern? Mastering the small, specific thing is the key to unlocking the big thing.
And when I say mastering a niche, I mean you have to get obsessive with the details. For forearms, it's not just about doing one curl. No, You got to understand every single function: flexion, extension, pronation, supination, grip, all of it. That level of detail, that's what separates the people who are just messing around from the people who are getting real results.
And what's the reward for that same obsession in the digital world? Well, the numbers are just mind-blowing. A brand new channel using AI to focus only on that Roblox niche pulled in 1 billion views in 3 months. Let that sink in. That is the insane power of mastering your niche.
But there's a catch. You can have the perfect blueprint, the absolute best strategy laid out in front of you, but it's just a piece of paper if you don't have the engine to make it go. And that engine, my friends, is all in your head. It's your mindset, it's your discipline.
The fundamental law that governs all of this is something called progressive overload. It's simple. In the gym, if you want to get stronger, you have to keep adding a little more weight to the bar. You force your muscles to adapt. It's the exact same with anything else. With content, you have to constantly get a little better. Better editing, better stories, better ideas. You can't just coast. You have to force adaptation if you want to see growth.
And that's where the real magic happens. Real growth, it only ever happens right at the edge of your comfort zone. It's that moment in a heavy set when your brain is just screaming at you, drop the bar, it's too heavy. Or that moment when you're tempted to just post the good enough video instead of making it great. The decision you make right there, in that moment of pain, pushing through it, that is what separates the good from the truly great.
So, let's wrap it all up. There's the blueprint. It's simple, right? But simple does not mean easy. Number 1, build that rock-solid, non-negotiable foundation. 2, find the arbitrage, the system's unfair advantages. 3, go deep, master a niche. And 4, fuel the whole damn thing with the relentless discipline of progressive overload.
Because at the end of the day, this whole process, it's about so much more than just the results you see on the outside. The discipline you forge when you're building that foundation, when you're pushing through that wall of discomfort, that doesn't stay in the gym or on your computer. It bleeds into everything you do. You're not just building bigger quads or a bigger channel. You're building character.
So I'll leave you with this one question. What are you going to apply this blueprint to? Maybe it's the gym. Maybe it's your career, a side hustle, a new skill you want to learn. Whatever it is, what's the foundation that you're going to start building right now, today?